right, are we gonna take a brief break, or are we gonna just keep going?
Let's keep going.
All right, it's time for what do we got for salt, Anna?
Oh, I love this story. So look, you got to take the light, fun moments where you can get them. And let me just preface this story by saying this is what democracy looks like. So I appreciate what this woman did, even though I disagree with her wholeheartedly. So there's a woman named Deborah Baber. She lives in Simi Valley, California. I only say that because she's very vocal about it. And she is absolutely and utterly disgusted by the mandatory nature of mask wearing in California right now. Recently, the Ventura County Board of Supervisors had a meeting to vote on whether or not they should implement mandatory mask wearing in public in response to this ongoing pandemic. As some of you might already know, there are almost 24 states that have seen a spike in the number of new coronavirus cases. And one of the best ways to, at least slow the spread is to wear masks when you're out in public. Well, it's turned into a nonsensical political issue. It shouldn't be polarized, but with someone like Donald Trump in office, who literally just told the Wall Street Journal that he thinks people are wearing masks in public to embarrass him and to make him look bad, it's become a political issue, right? Like, it's just ridiculous.
Asshole. Guys.
He literally said that in the Wall Street Journal.
I'm sorry. You got to get rid of Donald Trump. I'm sorry. There isn't. Let me just take 30 seconds on this. I disagree. Everybody knows my position in 2016. But the context, both in terms of the forward trajectory of the possibility in the Democratic Party with Bernie Sanders, and like Zizek said, like there was a different constellation around, and I still totally disagreed with it, but there was a different context around just the idea of having somebody that was like a smack in the face to establishment politics, period, even as it was like a regression and totally disgusting, which is, again, why I opposed, I did not want him to be president. I wanted to vote did vote strategically in 2016, but like there just isn't, there's no strategic argument left. There's nothing. Like, you just get rid of the guy, and all the fun parts he can keep tweeting.
Totally. Yeah. And believe me, he will keep tweeting.
He will keep tweeting. We will have DACA and potentially a slower rate increase of the national security state for the possibility of future organizing, and he will tweet all fucking day, which he's great at. Anyways, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and now I have to add one more thing to that, because recently there was a small business meeting in Nebraska with some Republican governors. And as this small business owner was talking about the challenges of opening back up in the middle of this pandemic, Donald Trump, like, he grabs his phone. She's speaking. He grabs his phone, looks around like a mischievous high school student, and just like starts tweeting. And he starts tweeting about decoupling from China while this woman is talking about something that, by the way, he's advocating for.
It's so awesome.
It's just,
do you remember the solution? Do you remember the solution that we came up with? I think the solution was, maybe it was Lex's idea, but the perfect scenario, like if we were in a good world, Bernie Sanders is president and Trump is press secretary in a Sanders administration. That is like the best of all worlds. Just like there were many losers trying to stop Medicare for all, which is really a beautiful story. And it's tremendous for people.
No, he is an effective. He's a moron. He speaks like a fourth grader. Like, I acknowledge all of that. With that said, though, he is an effective communicator.
I don't know. Like, I'm into like he's really like absolutely a psychopath scumbag, and that's really worth noting and highly unusual, honestly. Like, even in the world of politics, which is filled with tons of cretins, like there is absolutely like, his lack of even pretending to care about the effects of Corona. Like, yeah, that's distinct. I'll keep saying it. Like, read that Edward Luce piece in the Financial Times. I don't know that he's actually. I don't really totally buy. Like, I wouldn't say he's like smart, but I don't think I think he's very intuitive. I think he's very savvy. I think he's very like, I think that ability, like that Bolton said that he called, and I believe he stole this from me. I think I said this first, but the fact that he called, like Beto, like Juan Guaido, the Beto of Venezuela, like he knows how to read things. And of course he just translates it into being like trash because like that's who he is. He's just like a big messy bitch, but he's insightful. He's savvy.
That's fair. And he understands marketing. Like he's got the intuitive nature when it comes to marketing and communication. So I'll give him that. So now that we've adjudicated like why this mask situation has become so politicized, Deborah Baber, who's a huge Trump supporter, goes to this, Board of Supervisors meeting to protest the mandatory mask wearing. And it produces one of the best videos I've ever seen in my career. It's not even hyperbole. I broke it up into lots of different parts so we can really stop and discuss. Let's go to the first one.
I protest face coverings. I am a healthy American. I used to be free. I am not a terrorist. I am not Antifa. I am not a sex slave that wears masks. I am not into sadomasochism and bondage. I am not a burglar. I am not a pandering politician like we see here and here and here and here.
No, I'm obsessed with her. I don't agree with anything she's saying, but she's amazing.
I love that energy.
I'm not a sadomasochist, which of course makes me think she's totally into sadomasochism, which by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever gets your rocks off. But it's just like, what? Like, why did that have to come up out of nowhere?
She's not wearing a mask. Listen to her. Jesus Christ. I love this woman.
This is democracy, though, right? So I fully support this.
Energy. Like the left and liberals are filled with like, well, actually, why did you say that? And oh my God, that's not okay. That's what. Boom! I am not Antifa. Not a sadomasochist. Yeah.
My favorite thing is like props and like pointing to pictures of like people don't know what terrorists look like, so I'm gonna go ahead and show them. Like what? It's just insane.
Terrible content, amazing delivery.
Absolutely. Let's see a little more of that amazing delivery.
I am a proud Trump Republican, yearning to be free again. Who are you, victim or victor? If you are offended by anything I have said, by the masses of people, then I am offended by the masses of people who do not question your wholesale slaughter of our constitutional and inalienable rights. Shame on all of you. Let liberty ring.
Yes.
The props are amazing. And by the way, we know you're a Trump supporter. Like we could tell from the hat and the like. I love how the hat and the shirt was not enough. I also need to have like, a poster showing my absolute admiration for Donald Trump to really get that point across.
Oh my God. By the way, now I know because I've been so thrown off at some of the stuff that Kale has been saying to us in show prep. And now I know where he cribbed it from. Kale goes, you are offended. I am the one that am offended. I'm totally kidding. I love it.
By the way, wholesale slaughter. When she said wholesale slaughter, I'm like, oh, are we going to talk about like Yemeni children, like wholesale? No, of our constitutional rights, which by the way, we should be concerned about what's happening to our constitutional rights. But she's maybe focusing on the wrong thing, right? Like she's mixing up
No, I mean, you're right. I'm thinking of like all of those classic like libertarian calls to the Majority Report where like, you'd start with like, yeah, there's that like our civil liberties are trampled systemically and fundamentally. And of course they don't consider this, but if you should, like the private surveillance economy, which is even worse and more dangerous, and the hybrid, all of this stuff. And then, so it's like, okay, yeah, totally. So what did you have in mind? I can't buy energy inefficient light bulbs anymore. Done.
It's just
States can't enslave people anymore. Rest my case.
It's so true. Oh my God. So okay, let's go to this next one.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the oceans to the prairies to the mountains, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Let liberty ring!
Thank you for your comments.
And it's Baber,
Thank
Deborah Baber.
Thank you very much.
You should know better.
The next item is a Zoom.
You should know better. Okay. Like the calmness of that board member is incredible. All right. Next, we have a Zoom. I think we're done listening about the foamy mountains we have in America. Let's move forward.
Can we have her on the show?
Kale, let's make it happen.
Swear to God.
Make it happen. No, I actually wouldn't mind interviewing her, right? Like as long as, you know, she understands like this isn't going to devolve into a weird shouting match. Again, like I don't think I need to say this, but I'll repeat that I probably disagree with her on everything. But here's a lesson that we can learn, something serious that we can take away from what we saw. Look, we need to stop taking ourselves too seriously, right? And have a little bit of a sense of humor about some of what's going on, because there is a point, I think, when some people on the right, you know, argue that we want to silence people, not hear their perspectives, not debate perspectives. Now, of course, they're guilty of the same thing. They would censor people on the left any day. But I'm not offended by that show that she gave. I'm actually inspired by it, and I want to see more of it from everyone, from anyone who has varying political ideologies, opinions, thoughts. That's what democracy is supposed to be, right? So I'm not intimidated by or afraid of that type of perspective. In fact, I want to debate it, and I feel confident in my beliefs and my values and my ideology. And I just think that we can all, you know, maybe take something from that to open up dialogue and discussions that I think that the left, just as much as the right, has been guilty of trying to end or silence, whatever, censor.
Yeah, I
trying to censor stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
I agree. I mean, I also like, look, obviously it's ridiculous and she's talking a whole bunch of nonsense and bullshit, but there is like this element of like, just really save, and this just applies completely across the board, just like save your contempt for like actual people who like have actual power, like a political office, like not like, you know, I mean, you know, not Twitter, whatever, or media, whatever, like, you know, like, let alone, and least of all, like a regular citizen, you know, who, yes, the lady's a crackpot, but you know, go out there, go for it. The subtext of like discouraging that participation, I think we should totally shy away from. I completely agree with you.
Yep.
And I would like a bell for this show.
So good. It's so good. I envision her practicing that whole spiel in front of a mirror. You know, like she's like, okay, but you know what? I'm not really going to bring it home unless I sing. And by the way, she's got some good chords on her. She can sing. And I got to pull out that bell. Let liberty ring. So
I wish I advocated for freeing Lula like that.
I'd be into it.
And yes, I do support freeing Lula. So you can see what my Lula t-shirt, and in fact, every fucking episode of my show. That was awesome.